Hey guys, it's Jake. In this video, we are going to talk about how to go from complete beginner to $120,000 remote job. So if you don't know me, my name is Jake and I'm creating these videos for you for free to share exactly what did work, what didn't work, and what I'm actively doing to earn over $100,000 as a remote developer in 2025. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. All right, so let's talk about the opportunity here, right? So if you've never heard of coding, or maybe you're not earning six figures yet, or maybe you want to work remotes, let's just talk about what it is at stake for you right here, all right? So I truly believe that coding is one of the fastest paths for you to go from broke to earning over six figures per year. And not only that, but there are so many coding opportunities out there that let you stay remote. So, if location freedom is something you value, maybe you want to work from South America, maybe you want to work from, Asia, maybe you want to work from maybe another state or a bigger city or a smaller city even, coding is one of the best opportunities for this. And not only is it fast, but if you learn how to code, if you learn how to engineer, you will be valuable forever. Because what most people don't understand about coding, about engineering, and so on and so forth, is that it is very hard to replace you. And the reason it's hard to replace you is because ultimately your job is to be a problem solver, okay? So you see all these headlines about, AI is replacing developers, and developers aren't getting employed anymore, and this and that. But the reality is these companies could not run without engineers, right? If you get rid of all your engineers, nobody will be there to put out the fires. And so if you learn how to be that person, if you learn how to be the person that's solving problems, that's putting out fires, that's building new, features, new software, you will be extremely valuable to a lot of companies, right? And what that means for you is that you are going to secure a large salary and a pretty secure salary, okay? And that's why I truly believe that coding, and not only just coding, but specifically front-end development, is one of the best opportunities if you want to lock in and secure your financial future, okay? And so the actual demand from these businesses is different for every business, but ultimately, almost all businesses, or a lot of businesses in 2025, they need a website, right? They might have an app. They might service customers through software. They just have business needs. And if they don't necessarily sell online, if they don't do this, if they don't do that, they probably have sales processes that can be automated, that can be streamlined. They probably have ways that they can either cut out labor, things like that. And that's where software comes in, right? If you can make a business money, or if you can save them cost, you are inherently valuable, and they're willing to pay you that delta in between those two, right? If you can make them a lot of money, of course they'd be willing to pay you a lot of money, right? Another thing that's possible with coding is very quickly you're able to stack several income streams if you want to stack several income streams, okay? If you want to freelance, if you want to work a full-time remote job, if you want to go and actually build your own SaaS product, like somebody like Peter Levels, right? And go and make a bunch of SaaS products, you can do that too, right? So you can take any avenue you want. Maybe you're bumping up against retirement and you just want to earn a little extra income, as you go into retirement. Totally cool. You can do that, okay? You can go and find yourself clients that you can set your own rates. You can go and charge them, what it is you want to charge them, and just make a little side income. And heck, you can even turn that into a full-time income. If you get more projects, maybe you get a couple teammates and what have you, you can absolutely do that full-time. If you just want one source of income where you clock in, clock out, you can absolutely do that. You can get a remote full-time role where you can work from anywhere and you can go and earn six figures, right? And then the third option, if you are ambitious, if you want to go and build your own company, if you want to go and build your own SaaS, you can absolutely do that too. So the point being, you learn to code, you have options, okay? You are valuable, right? You have the skill in that nobody can take these skills away from you. All of a sudden, you can kind of do whatever you want. The world is at your fingertips, okay? So with freelancing, you can start earning, say, 1K to 5K a month. Like, if you're watching this video right now, I'm going to assume you're not yet making six figures, and maybe you want to get there. So let me ask you this. How much would earning an extra $1,000 a month do for you? Think about that. How much would earning an extra $1,000 a month do for you? And the reality is you're not too far off from that, okay? So to go and learn some of the basics and to go and earn your first $1,000 from freelancing, like, you are not that far away from that. So the main thing I need you to believe is that it's possible that you can do this. Even if you have no experience, even if you've never written a line of code, it's like, this is possible, okay? So You can go and freelance, you can go and, build and sell your own SaaS. And then this too, remote work, right? If you want to get a job and work from anywhere, you can absolutely do that. And there are plenty of companies still hiring for this. There are plenty of companies still with remote roles, and a lot of startups even nowadays, they start with remote first, okay? So the reason I can talk about this with such conviction is because I did this and I do this, okay? This has been my life for the past, 5-6 years at this point. I've been blessed with this amazing opportunity, and I feel compelled to share this opportunity with others and teach others, what it is that's possible. So if that's you right now, this reality is possible for you. You can wake up from anywhere, you can earn a nice salary, and you can live an awesome life, okay? And one more thing I want to talk about is, if you read in the news and you hear people talking about AI is taking jobs, AI this and that, look, AI is making developers better. It is not replacing developers right now. It is making engineers work faster, work better. But the reality is every day there are new startups, there are new roles because more stuff has to be built. And there's entrepreneurs that are looking to make money in the market, and they need engineers to help build their ideas, okay? And that's the opportunity, right? And the other opportunity is that AI makes current engineers better, but for somebody learning, it's going to help you learn twice as fast, 3 times as fast, because all of a sudden you have a tutor right there at your fingertips, okay? So it's just such an incredible opportunity for several reasons, right? And if you're kind of on the fence, like, oh, I don't know if this is for me, I don't know of a better opportunity where you can go in and literally start earning. After 3 months of experience for me, I started earning $64K. After 11 months of experience, I started earning $153K. Okay, so that's how quickly you can kind of progress in this industry. All right. So without further ado, let's talk about some of the hard skills you'll actually need to start building your foundation. Okay, so these are step by step what I would learn if I was relearning today. The first thing you want to start with is HTML and CSS. And mind you, we're talking about front-end development here. It's a very specific type of development that focuses on web applications and specifically on the front-end side of it, okay? This is the lowest hanging fruit in terms of difficulty of learning, for one, and then breadth of knowledge that you're actually going to need, right? So I see this as the best entry point to tech if you're trying to break in. This is what I started with personally. You want to start with HTML and CSS. This is just kind of your bare bones, understanding how the internet works, right? So if you see, for example, on these, little buttons over here, that would be HTML. If you see the blue color here, the red color here, that would be some CSS, okay? So HTML is basically the building blocks of any website. CSS is just the styling, maybe the paint on the house, for example, okay? And then JavaScript. This is what you're going to want to learn next. JavaScript is what breathes life into any website on the internet, right? So, if I click on this, what is making this box appear, right? It's JavaScript, okay? If I click on any of these buttons, what is actually handling, or what is understanding when you click that button, telling the browser what to do, okay? That is JavaScript, right? And so that's kind of where the money is. It's actually bringing websites to life, using APIs, making sense of user inputs and things like that. There are tons and tons and tons. As a matter of fact, I think JavaScript is the most popular skill required in job postings, right? So you will never go wrong learning JavaScript. It is used everywhere. And at some point in your career, in your future, you will probably need to use JavaScript, right? So that's what we're going to move to next. We're going to learn some JavaScript. And then what I recommend is to ignore everything else for now, okay? You're going to hear a million people on the internet tell you like, oh, Python's the easiest to learn first and Java and everything else. And listen, yeah, you can go and learn those, but the difference is they may be teaching you just how to code for the sake of coding, all right? I'm trying to teach you how to code to get employed, to start making money, because ultimately I'm assuming that's what you want to get to, right? As quickly as possible. And if that's your goal, this is the most streamlined path. Learn HTML, learn CSS, learn JavaScript, build a few projects with those, and start applying to jobs, and you will be shocked at, you may start landing interviews, you may start landing internships, junior roles, things like that. And, if you're currently working a full-time job, you don't need to quit your job to start learning. You can start putting in an hour a day, 30 minutes a day, 2 hours a day. Whatever you can do to keep the ball rolling forward. What you don't want to do is try to learn, do 4 hours in one day and then skip an entire week, right? Consistency matters, just like think of it like this. It's like cramming for a test, okay? How well does that work? It doesn't work that well, all right? If you try to do 8 hours in a day and then you get burnt out, right? That's not valuable. It's not as valuable as doing, say, 30 minutes a day or an hour a day and just being really, really consistent because your confidence and your skills are going to grow over time, okay? So those are the actual foundations. Moving forward into the skills that actually get you hired, right? So these are kind of the next level of skills that you're going to need to know how to do. And I'll even add one bullet point here called cloning Figma designs that I left out earlier. But once you have the basics of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, you're going to want to at least touch on some of these higher level skills, right? You don't have to spend forever here because you're going to get reps on the job. You're going to learn how to, do this type of stuff anyways. The biggest thing you need to be able to do is to show yourself that you're capable of doing it, right? You need to learn some React basics, right? Maybe learn or maybe build, a project or two, just showing that, hey, I've used React. This is my experience, and you can talk to companies about, hey, look, I've actually used this framework. So if I come into your company and you're using it, I can jump right in and contribute, right? You just want to have that confidence in your voice, that conviction where you can speak from experience and not about something that you've never done yourself, okay? The next thing, as a front-end developer, you're going to need to know how to clone Figma designs, okay? So what that means is, can you look at any website out there, Netflix, Google, Facebook, whatever, and then clone the design? Meaning, can you kind of figure out how the website is built and then build your own version of it without just directly copying it? If you can, then by all means, like, you're going to be a great front-end engineer. And then moving forward, just understanding APIs, some of these basics like Git version control, and then having good communication skills as well as a business mindset about things. Look, the biggest thing when talking to companies is they only care about what you can do for them, all right? That's just the reality of the world. It's like, can you make them money or can you cut costs for them? Okay, and if you can understand this and if you can frame your work in those in that way, you're going to be tremendously more valuable. You're going to be more respected to the person you're speaking to, right? If you're speaking to a C-suite person, maybe a CEO, maybe a CTO, somebody like that, that's thinking in the realm of business metrics, and you can speak that language as opposed to, hey, I learned this framework, I wrote this line of code, right? You're going to be a lot more valuable, right? And they're going to respect you and care about you a lot more because you all of a sudden align with their interests. You align with their needs. Okay, so those are kind of the biggest things right here. That's going to help you go and pass your interviews once you start applying, okay? And then moving forward to the actual job hunt, we're just going to talk high level, what it takes here. Obviously, you can double click into any of these and you can get really granular with this and talk more strategy and depth and things like that. But the biggest thing is 99% of people out there are just going to take the easy route of applying online places, right? They may apply to 10 places, 50 places, 100 places, and wonder why they never heard back from it. The reality is when you only apply online, you are just a resume in a pile, right? You're not standing out at all. You're not putting any effort in. You don't have any human-to-human connection anywhere. And in all likelihood, you probably just don't have that much experience or experience worth, connecting over. So if you only apply online, you're kind of screwing yourself. You're shooting yourself in the foot for no reason. If you put just even a single ounce of effort into going above and beyond, reaching out to people, talking to people, connecting with people, you're going to blow right past your competition. And that's just the reality of the game because most devs are lazy. And they don't want to do this, right? So if you show a little bit of hustle, a little bit of ambition, you can blow right past people, okay? So the biggest thing is just make sure you have that box checked, right? There's a million online jobs posted every single day. You can automate this, all right? You can throw your resume into an online applying tool and you can have that mostly automated, okay? So just make sure that box is checked, after which let's go and get into the good stuff. Connecting with recruiters, networking with engineers, going to the decision makers, right? It's like my first full-time job was landed on a cold DM to a CEO of a company I was interested in, right? The CEO of a company that, I was a user of, and I thought the product was cool. I literally just reached out to say, I liked his stuff and basically got back with me offering a job. I wasn't even asking for a job. This is what's possible if you talk to the right people, okay? The biggest thing on the job hunt, though, is making sure you are locking in referrals, okay? If you get a referral at a company, you're pretty much guaranteed an interview. And after that, it's just on you to pass an interview and get a job offer, right? And there are ways to do this organically. There are ways to game the system, depending on how you feel about maybe gaming the system or what have you, right? You can get referrals pretty much anywhere you want. Pretty much anywhere you want, which means you can have a guaranteed interview anywhere you want, which means it's literally just up to you to pass an interview, right? So if you want to go make six figures, if you want to go get into Fang, if you want to go do whatever, you can absolutely do this, okay? So part of this is how I landed a role at Amazon, is through these playing this same exact system here, all right? So by the way, if you want my help with this, you want my one-on-one help with this, I built a website called frontendfuture.com up here. You can go here. There's a free training that covers all this stuff in detail, and we can even talk one-on-one and talk about how you can do this for yourself. All right. So last thing we'll talk about here is the reality timeline of what actually to expect. So as you're first learning, and I'm going to assume you are working a full-time job that maybe you only have 30 minutes a day, maybe you only have less than an hour a day to go and learn this stuff. But it's going to take you a few months to learn the fundamentals, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. It's going to take you some time to build confidence, to build some websites, and so on and so forth, right? It's not going to come overnight, especially if you haven't done this before. It's going to take time. And if you are already a working professional, if you've already lived a bunch of life, it's like, great things take time. It takes a little bit of time to actually go and learn these things, okay? Rome wasn't built in a day. It takes time, right? It takes reps, okay? Now, obviously, some people are going to move a lot faster, right? If you have a natural proclivity to coding, to math, to analytical thinking, things like that, right? You can go a lot faster than this, all right? I just put this here for posterity, what I think the average person is capable of, okay? So after you learn those fundamentals, after you learn how some of this tech fits together, you can start landing your first freelance gigs, right? You can start even earlier than months 4 to 6, right? You learn some basic Zapier connections, some basic software tools. You don't even necessarily need to write code, but you can start earning, all right? And that's the magic of this, right? Not only are you learning to code, but you start learning how all these softwares fit together, and you can be tremendously valuable to businesses, all right? And if you can build this real experience on your resume, it's going to be a breeze when you go to actually land a full-time role. All right, so after that, if you want to go and land a full-time role, if you want to go work a remote job or whatever, that's when you can start applying and you can start landing some of this stuff yourself. So start earning 60K, start earning 80K and what have you, right? So, for myself personally, that looked like an internship where I was earning $32 an hour, right? Which is the equivalent of 64K. And that was after 3 months. And after I finished that internship, I got employed at Amazon, making the equivalent of basically 120 grand as an intern. Okay, 120 grand after just 8 months of experience. All right, so that is what's possible here. So you're going to move through this. You're going to start, maybe get your first internship, maybe get your first junior role, after which the floodgates open. Once you land that very first role, once you've kind of worked in that first role for a while, all of a sudden the tides turn. Recruiters are the ones reaching out to you. Your life gets easy. All of a sudden you pick and choose who do you want to work for, why you want to work there, how much you want to work for, so on and so forth. That's been the reality for me, and it can definitely be the reality for you too, as long as you learn the skills and you are committed to getting better and you show up every day and you put effort into this thing. There's no reason why you can't start earning, say, north of 100 grand after a year or two, right? And as I said, in terms of actually learning the skills, if you're not full-time working, right, and you want to go at this faster, you can absolutely move faster than this. If you want to put more than an hour a day in, you can absolutely move faster than this, especially if you don't have, necessarily a wife or kids or responsibilities, things like that, right? You can really dive headfirst into this and move a lot quicker, all right? And if you're wanting to move even quicker, go to frontendfuture.com. There's a quick training that walks you through exactly how I did this, how you can do this so that you can start getting employed as a remote six-figure engineer, as a remote six-figure front-end developer as quickly as possible. You can even book in time with me so that we can speak one-on-one and draft you up a roadmap for yourself so that you can do this as quickly as possible. So again, thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.